as the crypto world is evolving and it starts threatening the fiat ecosystem, I believe it is the right time to discuss about regulation and the road ahead. Today we have with us Mr. Mishra from Finjuris here in Dubai to discuss some very hot topics. Thank you so much for being with us today. I will go back to what you said earlier, that there is not at the moment global cooperation in terms of regulation. So how do you see this happening? Because to my understanding, is this what is missing? Because every country is trying to approach it differently from a regulatory perspective. And interestingly, some countries, they have agreements partnering with other countries as well. But at the end of the day, as a country, you have your objectives. So, but then again, the research shows that collaboration needs to be there. So how do you see that happening?
See, unless there is a global collaboration, the regulation, the cryptocurrency regulation or virtual asset regulation cannot be country specific. It will not be that impactful. If you look at all these licensing approach, let's say I'll just start with Estonia, then comes to Lithuania, then comes to Latvia, you talk about Poland, you talk about Czech Republic. Look at those countries, smaller countries. They want to come up with this licensing for what? For making some money, attracting these new Genjis to their countries. So that should not be the objective. If you would like to regulate it, global consensus required. Major countries should play a real role. Otherwise, this thing will happen. My view is very, very clear. Go for the first 10 financial strength country, big countries. They should collaborate with each other. They should say, okay, let's come up with a regulation and respect it. Let's be your country specific regulation, but exchange of information, connections, and some kind of collaboration is needed to regulate it. Otherwise, it will be like this. And if there is no collaboration, the regulation will not be that impactful. That's what my viewpoint is all about.
All right, but then I will again follow up on that. My question is very practical. How feasible that is? Why am I asking that? Okay, let's say that certain countries, they share similar characteristics. Okay, let's assume that we're talking about democratic countries. They can find some common ground, but then how can you deal with how can you deal with, for example, with China? How can you deal with Russia? They have decided in a certain way to go, their own direction, to follow their own path. So do you think at the end of the day that will be feasible? Do you see it happening? Because I understand that it has to happen. It has to happen. But do you see it happening anytime soon?
See, everyone knows UN, United Nations. So UN, if UN will initiate the process, so almost maximum countries are the member countries. UN should initiate a process, whether you are a democratic country or dictatorial country. So you have to find a common ground because it's for the betterment. From the, FATF. FATF has done something for this. They come up with Rule 6 and blah, blah, blah. Let's the regulatory, they say, okay, if you want to have your own regulatory, follow that. How many countries are following? Many of them, who shy away from the regulation? Countries, those are very, very conservative in their thoughts. And surprisingly, they need to understand if the young generations are so much addicted towards crypto, is it possible to make crypto away from the ecosystem? No, it is not possible. So better to have one thing. Let's sit together and find out a common ground to regulate it. Otherwise, cash and crypto, they will be like C plus C. And finally, the conclusion will be really devastating because anyone can use it. For bad actors can use it very effectively. Very effectively. So regulation, regulatory body and law enforcement agency are the only key people who can stop all this. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. And we will say to the audience that if you have more hot questions, please leave your comments below. Thank you.
Thank you very much.